All right, hey there, guys. So we're finishing up here with a look at Strat to Bitcoin. This is from polling the members this morning. So this is a long-time favorite here. I haven't looked at it for a while. Now, it does have a clean finish. Unlike so much of the of crypto and particularly the majors, we do have a nice finish coming up. So, of course, if we look at the whole thing of where we're coming, just relentless downtrend here. But if this is an ABC before we head down here to get potentially a significant low, we do have something we can work with, and then we've had a decent looking impulse come off of that pivot. So if we dig into this, so this is the low that looks like a reasonable candidate here. Well, it's pretty nice 1-2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC down to the 2. Up for the 3, down for the 4. Right, nice looking impulse into a potential. Just that, it's potential, because we can't eliminate the possibility that this 5-wave structure is just an A and some sort of B's going in. Can't eliminate it. Now, part of the problem here, and this is a relatively complicated correction here. So already you wouldn't want to see so much complexity in a 2, right? If you could script it. The part of the issue is this all looks like it's one big move. This looks like it's just all tied together. We don't have the kind of swing relationship you'd hope for to have something like this in an ABC coming down for a 2 before you went off. We don't get that. In fact, there are very few retracements, so it becomes a bit of a process of elimination. Now, additionally, we lose the buy side algo. So from this low here, if I grab it on the low here, so we've broken the 6-5. So we lose this algo here. Now, it doesn't mean we can't go here. Just we lose that muscle behind the, if you're a bull, I should say it that way. If you're a bear, well, of course, this is tease it up here now. So the only guys in the fight now are here. They got to get up here. There'll be software that kicks in here, and then they'll be trying to drive it down for that. So this, that may end up being the count here, right? As long as we stay above this pivot, we have an internal retracement. Ideally, you would have liked to have seen that hold. Now, this 1 is not relative to this pivot. It's just some prior structure here, some prior resistance here. Potentially, now we're in a support zone. Make that case. Now, coming down here, this is a bit tricky here. So I got to go down. Let's go to a 30-minute here, see if we can get a look into this now. This just becomes an exercise, and it's a really kind of your best guess, and you almost have to work backwards here because there's just a couple of different ways you could count this. So as we come down here, I get a fairly clear ABC coming down here, and because of what follows in the length of it, now granted I'm working backwards here with a lot of hindsight, I think because we have so few candidates here for retracements here, other than the aberrant, this kind of a thing that's a wick, I actually think what we have here, so I think we go ABC and we complete. So because there's a clean 5 coming down here, this is the completion of something. And then on top of that, this is the only 50 we get along the whole way. So it's right to the tick. So I think because this ABC completes here and I get a clean impulse to come down for that C, I think we go into a W. Then I've got to go A, B, C into an X right to the 50. Then I get a clean 5 down. So I can't ignore that. Right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. We come. That looks to me like an A wave. So yet again, I'm looking for an 8 for another 50. So if that's right, if we have this correctly identified, and I'm pulling from this pivot, and I've got 5 that's in, well, pardon me, this one actually we go right to the golden zone, like just a tick to get into it. So I've got a reasonable candidate here for an AB. Well, problem was what follows here. It looks like you could be done here, like you'd have your, oh, okay, I know what it is, WXY, we got it done. Well, we keep going, so it becomes a bit of a problem there. So what do you do with all of this additional data? Well, if we're not going to be complete here, right, and this is, guys, Elliott guys, I know this is a bit of a problem here, right? This looks more like 5. Right, so it's a bit of a stretch here to get. So maybe so here's the, yeah, that's is it? Yeah, it looks like that's a tick lower here. So Yeah, it is. So here would be your Y. So you're going to have, so you'd have to do it this way to get an X out of that. So you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, you'd have to go A, B, C, I think is a better fit there. So you have the possibility here that you get a truncated 5 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the A, B, C for the B. You're scraping for a C there, but that's at least you have. I think you get a 50 here. So whether it's from here or here, right? So right to the 50. Now again, we don't make target there, so you're really just making your best guesstimate here as to where you are in the count. Well, we get all this continuation. So what are you going to do with it? Well, if this is an X wave here, if that's correctly identified, it would appear, let me go to an hourly, that we can get another ABC out of this. So if that's going to stand as an X, then I've got to go A. It looks like I go A, B, C into a B here. So A. Remember, it's from the X I'm trying to complete in an ABC. So A, B, C into the B. Now it looks like I'm trying to finish, although right here it's too soon to say much more than I've got right now that just looks like a 3-wave. So if we get a little kick, and I don't even know if we're long enough here to even consider that as a 3. So maybe what you have starting out here is a diagonal. So you have something like this. We're trying to get a little diagonal to get us started, so we get a motive wave coming off of the low. Right here was that wave 1. That prior pivot, so maybe otherwise if this rolls over it just looks like an ABC and down we go. But if this is going to have, well, first thing we got to get across the pivot of the 1. Well, that's right here. So it looks like there may and the 3 may not be done. We don't know yet. We don't have enough to work with here. But coming down, could we be finished there? Well, I suppose you can dig this out. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could finish it in 5, meaning this would be you'd have to do it this way. So from this here, you'd have to go 1, 2. Oh boy, it looks like you'd have to go 3, 4. Or it'd be over here. You'd have to come down here for the 5. So let's go below. We'll go up 1. If the 4 is here, yeah, it looks like this is, if you're going to go 1, 2, yes, you'd have to do it this way. So you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4-ish in here somewhere. Maybe, oh, it looks like it's probably likely a triangle. So it looks like you get this kind of a thing right here. If I bring this down, something along these lines, some sort of a ugly triangle kicks in. Then, you know, is it a force fit? Maybe, but you got a pivot you can work with here. So I'll feel a whole letter about this, better about this pivot, if I can get some sort of a leading diagonal here, or an impulse, something, right? And give me a motive wave coming off of this pivot. So right now, I would just move this down here and say, all right, I don't care about that prior swing as much anymore. Now I want to see, can I hold here? So if that's potentially, now if that's done, so that would give us our Z. Well, let's see, we'd have it this way. So we'd have potentially a C that's done for a Z that's done, for a 2 that's done. Not the way you'd script it, if you could choose. But I suppose you get there now. So I know that probably I get 10 Elliottians to give me 10 different counts about how you approach that, and that's all right. So bottom line here, there's, you know, at this point, if it's me, I'm already gone. Like I don't like the look of this as a 2. I'm already next chart. But right, so I'm here to, you know, try and help members analyze it, maybe in it or maybe looking to get in it. Because of the weirdness of the 2, so maybe you just have something like this. Maybe you've just got, that's really all you've got here. So you've got a very shallow, right? We've gone through all those gyrations, and maybe it's just an ABC along those lines, right? So working through all of this, does it matter? Well, I can tell you this, it's you certainly, if you could pick, right, of all the places you might allocate money, if you weren't in this, that sort of ugly 2, I'd be waiting. I'd be waiting to get a whole lot of confirmation here. I want to see a nice fat 1, 2, 3, even better, right? Before I lean into the idea that I've got a, so maybe it's the bodies here, right? And we just had a little pump wick here on this 1. Maybe, right? But it feels like you're stretching to come up with a reason to be a buyer there. You know, you could use the reason to look at how far down we are. But if you're going to do that, well, you know, then you're averaging down the whole way down. So this, right? Unless I'm just overcomplicating it, which is certainly possible, right? It's not uncommon for an Elliottian to do that, unless we just have something like that, and it's just a simple ABC coming down here and. You've got that to correct this. Yeah, it's not good enough for me to want to pursue that, right, with so many other choices. So I would approach with caution here. If you start to get a little traction here, so if we complete this and we do get a motive wave here, maybe you can lean into something here. Right, again, it wouldn't be what you'd script. So you'd have to at least be conscious of the structure here. Right? So if you're this last little bit down here coming out of this, well, so you naturally you're going to run into, just, you could think of it as trend line resistance. If we come in here and then we come down, that center line would be a better setup. Get a 3, a 4, and a 5. Now that starts to look better. Right? Now you're thinking, oh, okay, well, some sort of weird second just happened here. I've got a candidate here for a 2 low. I've got a motive wave coming off of it, right? We don't, diagonal impulse, doesn't matter. As long as I get a motive wave coming off of that low, well, now, you know, so you look at that and you go, oh, shit, man, I should have bought it back here. Well, no, not there. Right? You just remember, there will always be a correction, right? There will be, and then you can get that one. Now now I'm paying attention. If I get this followed by that, now I'm interested. This, why? So there's so much to trade. Why force something there? So this, of course, if you got that, just sets it all, and now you got something to work with. Here, yeah. You know, it's Elliottians just, you know, going to, right? It's an intellectual pursuit. What is it, right? So I'm not, you know, to make light of trying to solve the puzzle, but why go where it's so complex? Or you can't, like, could be this, could be that. Shit, I don't know. I'm not sure. Why would you put money into anything where, like, up? I know exactly where we are. I've seen this 100 times. This. Yeah, I come back to, you know, as I'll often like to say to you, why would you not take that trade? Here, I would say, why would you take that trade? This, I like. This, why? All right, I'll leave you with that food for thought. All right, maybe that's my way of saying it's almost 3 o'clock and I'm hungry. I haven't even had lunch. All right, guys. So with that, I'll wrap it there, and all right. Have at it here. If you've got a better count, listen, I'm never here to say my count is the count. There's a count in here, but I wouldn't be chasing this myself. All right, guys. With that, I'll wrap it here. Have a good day.